Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ty Shine, aka coldlabz on social media. In the last video, we talked about arrays and objects, but in this video, we're going to talk about how to use alerts and what is a try, catch, and finally statement. So, what is an alert? Basically, it's a method that shows an alert box with a certain message inside of it, but once you click the OK button, it goes away. So let's go ahead and create our first alert button, see what it looks like. Okay, type ALERT alert, open close, and instantly something pops up. You type one thing next, instantly something pops up. You type one letter next, instantly something pops up. So let's stop that by turning off the auto run real quick. Now that the auto run is turned off, we can go ahead and type like an actual message. So let's say like alert, you shouldn't do that. Pretty simple stuff, right? But why'd you want to use the alert method? Well, I could think of a few reasons, but I'm gonna speak about just one of them. What if you want the user to stay on your page, you want to stop them from leaving? You could literally set up like a set interval, so when they scroll down or they're on your page for a certain time period, and once they reach a certain portion of the time on the page, and if they scroll to a certain area, have it go off one time to trigger them to keep on viewing the page. Well, we learned a lot in the last hour, so let's go ahead and put some of this to use. The first thing I want you to do is remove the alert. Next, let's create variable g. G equals 0, and g is going to be our number that we're going to increment by. The next variable we need to create is going to be food. So, got food, and it's going to be set interval. Make sure the I is capitalized because set interval is case sensitive. Function. Don't forget to open close curly braces. And then behind that, we're going to put 1000. That stands for 1 second. So we need to do some conditioners here. So how do we set this off at a certain timer? So let's say if g is equal to 3, clear interval. So what is clear interval? Clear interval is the opposite of set interval. The purpose of a clear interval is to stop the set interval from going, but in order for that to happen, we have to have what is called inside of clear interval. In this case, we're going to put food in there. So food, and now let's alert something. Alert, I have a secret. So don't leave the page. Next, let's do alert. Do you want this cash app or not? Alert. If so, stay on the page. So that's the if statement. Once it hits 3 seconds of them being on this page, it's going to try to convince them for not leaving the page. Now let's do else. Else, every 1 second, let's increment g. So remember, g plus equals 1. With that, it says that we're using addition, so plus 1 is going to be what's going to be incremented. So if we use multiplication, we could have put times 1. So g times equals 1, but the issue with that would be 0 times 0 is still 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. So it's going to keep on taking g over and over. You can even do division or subtraction, but in this case we want to increment it by 1, so we can at least reach this 3 right here inside the if else statement. So g plus equals 1, and now it's going to say, do you want that cash app or not, as you see on the screen right there. Okay, now you guys know how the alert button works. It's not that complicated. You just type alert and some stuff inside of it. So now let's go ahead and move on to our error catching. What we use for error catching, we use the words try, catch, and finally. So the first thing it looks for is going to try some code inside of the try block. Then once an error occurs, it catches that error, then it tries something else, and then finally it tries its final resolution to see if that works out. So let's go ahead and make a few errors. Okay, let's delete all of the alert stuff that we created along with the interval, and let's type the word try. So try, curly braces, let's type the letter C equals SAF. You know, that means nothing. And the reason that that's incorrect because that's not how you write strings. You write strings with the exclamation mark. So that's an error. So the word catch is what it found. So type CATCH, open close, and then curly braces. So type console.log. And then we write something in the inside of that. An error has occurred. The reason catch isn't showing anything because it requires the input inside of the braces. So let's put the letter P. So as you see now, it says the error has occurred. But what type of error? So how do we find out what type of error? You type the letter behind the actual console. So let's put P. So now you see an error has occurred and say it's a reference error because staff is not defined. It actually tells us what's going on. So what's the solution? The solution is writing the word finally. So finally is saying, seeing that this error has occurred, this is what we're going to do instead. So let's type finally, F-I-N, open close curly braces, then the word console .log. And as you see, something pops up. Let's type in here yellow. So the solution to C causing the error or throwing the error is the finally. So now we got yellow. So let's wrap this up. The first thing we did was learn about the alert button, how we can use the alert button to get the user's attention. And the last thing we did was learn about error throws and how we can use the error throwing method to solve other issues and continue on our programs. In the next few videos, we're going to get into some more interesting things, and then we're going to start building a video game, okay? Catch you guys around.